Hello everybody, Lawrence Fleming joining you again. I am in between rain bands, so I'm not going to wander too far from my tent. It was raining this morning when I woke up and it's stopped for a little bit, but there's more coming. I am trying to get these videos 2 or 3 days ahead because I'm classifying All Hallows Eve as a start of a high watch time for the Rapture. Now, Dr. Barry Aw has a new video out, and he seems to agree on that as far as high watch, but we're off on calendars. I hate the way Satan has messed up our calendars to make it hard to track all this stuff. It's obvious we're supposed to track based on these calendars. Otherwise, Satan wouldn't have butchered them up so much. Okay, so I'm starting it on Monday night. I'm doing a live broadcast Monday night, which you will see before you see this video. And if we're still here, then you'll see this video. If not, this will be for the other people left behind. I'm using my backup selfie stick because I wanted to see if I could do this and get a better view, because you used to seeing me like this. I'm trying to get out like this, but I know why I don't use this one anymore. After a while, these telescoping metal selfie sticks, they wear smooth, and then they allow the phone to spin. They don't hold it in one place very well. So I'm being very careful as I'm walking. I might go back and walk to my bench that I've been seated at before, just because I can stay close that way. I just turned around. I don't want to get too far, because I can do that. I get absent-minded and do that. Again, I'm with a trail marker. Most parks have trails and they're marked. Some use paint, some use metal, sheet metal, cut to size and painted. Whatever they are, they make sure it's easy for you to follow. And they do them like every 15, 20 feet, so if you think you're lost, just keep walking and look for the color. And each trail has a different color, so that if you wander on the wrong one, I get to forks in the roads all the time, and I got to figure out which trail I want to be on, so you look for the color. Sometimes I do want to change trails. All right. If we're still here, because we've missed this time frame, it's okay, because we've got an open window from now. Dr. Barry, I think, says the 11th. It's 17 days from the first of the month, and we'll talk about this. I don't want to give away my Monday night stuff too much, but I'm talking about the flood. And as I commented on his page, I don't know if he was talking about me or somebody else. I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks that we're still in the church age and shouldn't be looking for a Jewish holiday. But I consider the flood, it is Jewish, but it is a worldwide event. It is not a festival or holiday. So I think it is a good time to line up a rapture. And his teaching on his last video, if you want to check it out, if we're still here, go ahead, because he's still got us in a window of time. I don't know when things are going to turn bad, but they're going to turn bad quickly, with very little warning, and we're going to be caught figuratively with our pants down if you haven't been prepping. Now, some of you may think that because the rapture is going to save us, that we're not going to have to go through any of this. We don't have to worry about a nuclear bomb landing on our head, but you may have to go on a forced fast if you didn't stock up on food. I don't know how long we're going to be here before all hell breaks loose. The seals, the first part of the Revelation events are a combination of man, Satan, and a little bit of Jesus' wrath, if you will. So we don't know when this stuff is going to happen. I'm going to sit back down again and see if I can do this without losing the camera. There we go. This is better. I think what I need to do is to get another one of these that is not too loose. I suppose I could try to take a pliers to it and try to crimp them a little bit. I hate doing that. As soon as you start messing with stuff, only reason it slips is it's worn out. All right. You need to keep prepping. You need to keep telling people about what's coming. Because pretty soon your voice is going to be silent. If you've got friends and family who will at least tolerate you talking about the end of the world and Jesus coming back and salvation specifically, don't lose that opportunity. As was pointed out in a comment, the key to all this is salvation. God didn't come down to earth, take the form of a man just to talk to us. All that was great, and we have Bible accounts of it, and I'm glad that he did, because he answered some questions. But that was not his purpose. His purpose from the beginning of coming here to earth, and it's described all through the Bible, from Genesis forward, it's described. He came down here to sacrifice his blood for us. There was an agreement made, and God doesn't back down on agreements. He's never changing. So he made an agreement. He won't back down on it. There had to be a blood sacrifice. Even with this rain, I'm still wanting to sneeze. It's starting to get cool enough down here that the leaves are changing. We're about ready to dump this fall and move into winter. We're not too far. I don't know how much we're going to see, but the rest of the world is definitely going to see a hard winter. I'm looking at some beautiful orange leaves ahead of me. I may let you see them here in a bit. We're still pretty green here because we were in the 60s this morning when I got up. It's not a problem getting up. When it's cold, I don't want to get out of my sleeping bag. I can't find my remote. I have one of those vertical electric heaters, and it's just as well because I don't need to be turning it on while I'm not up. I need to get up. But if I had my remote, I'd probably just roll over and push the button and then take my phone under the covers and check in the morning. It doesn't get light till about 7:30, which is a problem for me because I've got to, on Friday, which is today is Sunday, yeah, so we can talk about Friday. Next Friday is a moving day. And it's another reason why I want to get ahead on movies, videos for you. If we're still here, I'm supposed to film a short film. And so I will probably be working Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I don't see me having the ability to do a video on those days. So if I can get ahead And then on Sunday to Monday, I don't know which day, I also have another moving day where I'm moving back to my son's for a few days before I go back to camping. Since I've got to travel the whole state, I didn't bring everything with me. I got to go back to storage, and it's hard to do that. I got to drive 6 hours to get back from South Georgia. So I'm going to stay with my sons. That gives me time to go back to storage and get stuff. So I'm just filling you in for what's happening next week. I'm going to try to be ahead on my videos before I leave. But on Friday, I can't film in the morning because I've got to get up. I'm going to be 99% packed Thursday night because I have to work Friday. And I'm still 2 hours away, roughly, to where I'm going to film at. So in the morning on Friday, I have to get up, put my tent up. I have my cot, my sleeping bag, and my tent. Everything else will be in the car. I have to break my tent down probably in the dark. I can put my headlights on, that would help, but I'm going to have to probably break it down in the dark because it doesn't start to get light until 7:30 to 8, and I can't wait that long. I want to leave by 7:30. So I got to get up, break that down. The cot, sleeping bag, that's easy. Folds up, fits in the car. The tent, I've got to take all the stakes down, fold it all up, put all the poles away. So that one takes a little while. That might take 10-15 minutes to get put up, especially since I'm working in the dark. Hopefully by the time I'm done, the light's up enough that I can survey the site and make sure I got everything. Then I got to take it away. And hopefully we don't have any bad weather. I hope this storm that goes through, which is going through right now, is all we've got. But we could have more rain next weekend. That's okay. Once I get moved, I'll be in a motel Friday night through either Sunday night or Monday. I haven't decided when I'm leaving yet. It depends on how long Sunday's workday is. Okay. I told them when they reminded me that I'd agreed to do this, that if we're still here, I'll do it because I told them I would. I've got my camera equipment with me, which is why I don't have as much stuff. Because it takes up a lot of stuff, and I've got a lot of it loosely stacked in my car because I can't normally I would just take 4 or 5 bin boxes and my camera in its case, and I'd have everything I need. Here I've had to basically pick and choose. I don't have to worry about sound because we've got a separate sound guy coming in to do stuff. I do have a mic on my camera that I use for reference sound, but it won't be the primary. I don't have with my camera, if you know anything about this stuff, I don't use time code. Because for the type of filming that I'm doing like right now, the microphone on my camera is all that I need. I don't have to do the professional quality. This is not a studio quality. If I bring my professional camera out here, I'd have to take it into the shop after every visit because the moisture, I can just feel the moisture in the air, would destroy the camera. If it was a true professional, one of the metal case ones, I might be able to get by with it, but it's not. It's a good quality JVC, but it's 4K, but it's a non-commercial, I just say. So it's got plastic parts. And the last time I took it out, I had to take it in and spend $500 to get it fixed. Well, it needed some other things too, so I did all that all at once while it was in there. But I don't want to do that again. And that's a couple of years ago, I guess. I could use it inside and set up a mini studio, but I'm only staying as a guest in my son's place, so I don't want to take the time to do that. If I had my own place, I'd have a small studio, which I've done before. And then I take the memory sticks out, stick them in my computer, edit the film, upload it. You know, it's easy enough to do, and I can change backgrounds. You know, you see all these guys on YouTube with their fancy backgrounds. They've got, you know, graphics going and all that. I've done that in the past, and if you go far enough back, you can find my videos. I don't think I'm as good a talker in my early videos as I have become now, because you just get better the more you do. But the messages were similar. I just didn't do as many. God has me on a daily message schedule. And I couldn't do this if he wasn't feeding me the lines. I don't have any problem walking out with nothing in my head. Literally. I've prayed, I've asked God to help me, and I start off saying good morning, and I don't have anything to talk about. I've done that. It's not all the time, but you know, if I do this right, I've taken some notes and got some scriptures to back up what I'm going to say. But God will just start feeding it to me, spoon feeding me, sort of like a teleprompter would do. You know, you see these guys on these shows that come on. A lot of times they come on to guest on Tonight Show or something like that, and they do a skit. They're reading off a teleprompter. When they do the Academy Awards, they're reading off a teleprompter. When they used to do the Dean Martin roast, they're reading off a teleprompter. The jokes are all pre-written. All they got to do is just read them and put the emphasis in them, and they're actors, so they should be able to do that. And I've done that. And I've used teleprompters for actors that don't have their lines memorized. I can do that, but you don't really have to. One of the guys that I work with, he's real good at putting things together and editing. And you do want to have cut scenes. You want to have scenes that you can cut back and forth from. A person talking this way, a person talking this way, you know. You can do that. You can shoot the scene this way. I guess I'm going off on another rabbit hole. But you shoot the scene this way, and then you reshoot the scene this way. I'm looking over to make sure I'm in the picture. And you reshoot it this way. So I can talk to you like I'm doing now, and then I can cut back to my face this way. It's just by editing, by putting these little pieces together. That's what your editor does for you. The old style editing, they used to go in with film, you know, actual film that you would run in a projector. They take those pieces, put it in a splicer, and you cut the film at the point you want to stop it, and you better do it right. So these guys were experts. And then you put the other piece of film in, you put it right next to it, butt them up to each other, and then you put some tape on it that's specially made for that film, and then you can do that. And it switches. And you do some kind of a fade if you want in between. You can do that as well. You know, they can do all kinds of stuff. Or you walk into the camera until you end up, I've done this, where you walk into the camera and you end up with black. All right. See, this adjusted on me, and this is why I don't like this one, as I moved it too much. Okay. Video editing is a craft. I can do it because I have, but I'm not an expert. I can direct because I have, but I'm not an expert. You can do pretty much anything. The key is to do it enough times to get good at it. I tell people that if you want to be good at something, you've got to do it about 100 times to be considered expert at it. That's learning a new song. The more you play the guitar or sing the song or whatever, the more you do that, the better it gets. These guys don't come up here and start singing without lots and lots of practice. That was one of the reasons I didn't get involved in all this stuff early on. I didn't want to do the practice. I didn't want to pay my dues, if you will, for the industry or for anything else I wanted to do. I want, I'm in this instant generation. I want fast food. I want it now. Somebody else leaving, but they're not, I don't think they're leaving the park for good. We're close enough to businesses here. I've got to figure out which way I'm going to leave here. One way has it as an hour and a half, another way has it an hour and 40 minutes. I got another way that's an hour and 20. But sometimes the calculations don't work well. And I've never taken this route before, so I may split hairs and go down the middle. Sometimes my navigator will route me through a subdivision with speed bumps. It's the shortest route. There's no lights in a subdivision, but they have speed bumps, and it doesn't take those into account. So you can't go over 10 or 15 miles an hour through the subdivision when you could go 45 or 50 out on the side roads. So AI is cool, but there's so much information that has to be processed. We're not quite to the Terminator stage in this world, but if we were to stay around, that would certainly happen. But we're not going to be around that long. That's sci-fi. Oh, and that was one thing I wanted to talk about. I've been reminiscing with some old sci-fi, because I grew up in the 50s and 60s. I was born in the 50s and watched Captain Kangaroo and Howdy Doody and all that stuff back then. But they had a lot of sci-fis, and the sci-fis were designed to take your mind, as most entertainment is, to take your mind off what's going on. And it was okay, there goes one with the camper leaving. That's a small one. That might be economical. Some of these big monsters are, I listen to them talk. Well, to operate this Class A is only about, $5,000 a year or something. Don't make that much. I like what I'm doing. The tent works fine. We're going to see how well it works in winter. Here comes a car coming back. Probably went out for breakfast. I'm going to have a light food day today. I'm catch myself eating too much. One of the comedians I listen to goes, I hate jogging because I gain weight when I'm jogging. And it's like, how can you gain weight when you're jogging? Well, when I get to the end of my jog, there's Dunkin' Donuts, and I go in and I buy half a dozen or more donuts, and I walk back and I eat those on the way back. So I'm gaining weight while I'm jogging. Well, I got to be careful. I don't eat too much, because if I've got too much idle time, and just sitting studying the Bible is idle time. If you've got food near you, you can pick it up and start munching. And normally I'll eat peanuts or something like that that's sort of healthy. But if I've got other things there, I'm liable to eat that. And I bought candy for Halloween week here, so I had kids come by the tent last night. Trick or treat. So I hand out candy. I don't mind participating that way. I just think that we got to be careful how we celebrate this. And I'm not going to give away again more of my stuff for Monday night, but there's a reason why we need to be conscious of events that Satan has taken over. We celebrate Christ's birthday on Christmas. But that was it was a holiday time for the pagans. They celebrated Christmas then because they could get away with having a celebration because the pagans were celebrating. They were killing Christians, so they had to be careful. So they celebrated on the same time frame as the pagans. So here they are celebrating a different event. They're not celebrating the pagan stuff. Now, some of it creeped in, the Christmas trees and the garland and the mistletoe and some of this other stuff. That's all pagan stuff. That's all right. I don't have a problem with that. If the purpose of your celebration is for Christ, that's okay. So we got to be careful on things that are pagan somewhat. Got to make sure you're celebrating correctly. And I'm going to talk about Halloween on that. Now, if you're doing this to scare off the evil spirits, and that's why you're dressed up in monster costumes, so you can scare off the evil spirits, believe me, they're scarier than anything you can put on. And I've played a walker on The Walking Dead, so I know I can scare people with what I look like. And no, I didn't put my picture up. I might show it to you on Halloween. I don't know. Remember, I'm an actor. I'm not the person that I play, and neither is any of the other actors. Some of our actors who play tough guys have actually been mugged and beaten up by somebody that says, see, you're not so tough. Of course he's not. He's an actor. Don't confuse fiction from real life. Real life, frankly, is more scary than anything that's ever been put on the big screen or on TV. But again, back to my movies. I was watching these movies, and we were during our Cold War with Russia, with Soviet Union actually at that time. And we had them, the missile crisis, wanting to set up nuclear missiles in Cuba. They can take a short boat ride from Cuba to Florida. Many have done that. Many have died doing that, but many have done that. It's not very far away. Well, we stood our ground and they backed down. Eventually, they came out with good submarine launch missiles, so they don't have to. They can be 5 miles away. Now, we may have detection devices that can pick up submarines that close. I don't know how accurate Red October is with their worm drive, but they don't need to be that close. They could be 50 miles away and launch a cruise missile nuke skimming across the water. It's hard to detect. The curvature of the Earth makes it difficult to detect. Now, we can still detect it. When I was in the Navy, one of my radar devices I worked on was called the SPA 41. It was a curvature radar. It would reach over the curvature of the Earth and detect incoming anything. Boats, planes. They weren't really looking for missiles at that time, but it would detect just about anything. So they can do it, and they're better, and they've got satellite detections now too. But if World War III starts, that's probably our ticket out of here. But if World War III starts, they will probably look at going after satellites simultaneously. EMP bombs will take out most of the satellites. It won't take out the one that I worked on. It will take a direct hit. But they have missiles that are doing direct hits. Russia did one a year or two ago. Was it last year they did it? Where they took out one of their obsolete satellites, they hit it direct and blew it up. Some of the pieces came too close to the space station. I don't know if you remember that. They can take out with missiles, and they don't need that many. I think my satellite system is, I think there's 18 satellites in the system. 18 missiles, if they hit, and they're pretty accurate. So it wouldn't take much to knock them out. And they've got theirs too, and we could knock theirs out the same way. So, all right. This is just a filler video. If we're still here, because this will come out on Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't remember when this is coming out. I've done enough to get, I have a video already released for Monday morning, and I'm doing a Monday evening. I might use the Monday evening live as a Tuesday morning, so that people that didn't get to see it will get to see it. There's another one leaving. And I might move this to Wednesday, is what I think I'm doing. We'll wait and see. But if I schedule this, I have to schedule this for Wednesday. If I decide I want to move it back, I can. If it's scheduled for Wednesday, the Monday Night Live will still be there. If I'm not here, due to the Rapture, then that's the schedule. I'm going to try to get the remainder of the week done. through the weekend before Friday. I have to do it by Thursday. So that way I've got the weekend covered and a move day at the end. If you have questions, keep them for Monday night. But some ask questions here, but not enough. You can ask questions here. If I say something that you don't understand or you disagree with, I don't mind debating. But it's got to be a true debate. It's not, this is how I feel, and if you don't like it, you're a heretic and you're going to hell. No, and then not give me a chance to say anything. No. If you see something that you disagree with, and sometimes I misquote things. I try to catch them when I preview the video, but I even miss them then because I said it the first time and it sounds good the second time. It doesn't dawn on me that I said something wrong. If I catch it, I'll drop the text in. But you can also tell me. It's too late to edit it at that point in time, but I like to know if I do that, because then I need to know that I got to practice more, I got to have better notes or whatever I'm doing. Don't go off on too many rabbit holes. God's inspiring this. I am not a prophet. I just observe. That's my God-given gift. I can observe something and see something that's either right or wrong and know. I can discern. That's my gift. Talking is something that he's working on and I'm getting better at, but it's not complete yet. So as we work on this, let me know. Now, technical issues come up. I'm feeling raindrops. I'm going to start walking back. And I'm not going to go over on the trail because there's no way to get through the trail without going into a campsite or getting wet going through all the leaves of the brush that's right next to mine. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to my live event. So have your questions, 6 o'clock Monday night, which I don't know why I'm saying this, because if you've already seen it, because this is coming out afterwards, oh well, go back and look at it if you missed it. I'll probably do it for about an hour. Depends on how active it is. Normally I don't announce my live videos because I'm usually just testing, and I'm usually not in a spot good enough to do a live video. But here there's a tower not too far away and there's not a problem reaching it, so I can pick it up. Okay. That's all I have for now. God bless. See you in the clouds. All right, I do want to leave you with one quick scripture here. And it may be getting noisy around me as more people are leaving the park. I'm glad the ones with the screaming girls are leaving. They're over at the dump station. I'm close to it. I'm not smell-o-vision close, but I can see it. Okay. Why do they have to scream? There's no reason to scream. Okay. I'm going to be in Luke 8. I'm going to start in 16. Jesus talking. No one, when he has lit a lamp, covers it with a vessel or puts it under a bed, but he sets it on a lampstand, that those who enter may see the light. He's talking to us. Don't hide your message. Get your message out. If you're a Christian, the message is in you. Find a way to get it out. Talk to everybody you see. Everybody you see. If you go to the market, start off by briefly talking, and you don't want to hold up the line, but if there's no line, talk to the person who's checking you out. You've got the bag person. They say, do you need help carrying this out? Say, yes. And then you can talk to them on the way out. If you say no and you take it out, you don't get to talk to them. I don't care if it's one bag. When they want to take it out, let them take it out. Okay, you don't go to the market for one bag. Well, nowadays you might come out with $100 worth of groceries and have it be in one bag. That's sad. Okay, continuing on in 17. For nothing is secret that will not be revealed, and nothing hidden that will not be known and come to light. That kind of applies to those that are looking to try to come up with a rapture date, or at least talking about the signs of the times. All of us that are doing that, here's our scripture that we can go on. Now, I think Barry Ock quoted this one in his last video, so I'm going to kind of borrow that, because it does apply. I've used it before, but I want to make sure that you know we can talk about this stuff. And you say, well, too many people say, well, no one knows the day or the hour. I keep stressing, it has nothing to do with the first rapture. The first rapture is a unique event. It's not tied to a Jewish holiday or festival, but it can be tied to an event that happened in the Bible, or if you want to just take the Bible away from it, it happened in the world. And we have proof that it happened in the world. We know that it did. And that's the flood. So, look to my, again, this video is going to come out afterwards. Look at my Monday Night Live, because that's what we're talking about it. It's possible Satan may get in here and the internet may go down and I might not be able to do my live event. If not, this is what this applies to. The calendars are debatable. They're not off by years, technically. We know that the AD calendar, that's off by about 4 years. But in general, we're back on schedule. But right now, we could be off by a week to 10 days. We're closer now because the Jewish calendar has put us back in line. They had their leap month already, so we're closer. The further away we get from that, the further the calendar gets away. And I don't even want to talk about the fact that they've moved the first of the year to the 7th month, and we're off by 6 months. Again, we'll talk about that on Monday night. Okay, this is if you missed it. Okay, bye for now. God bless.